Hey, everybody. Did you know that your body is literally covered with erogenous zones, hot spots, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? And that any one of these areas, if properly stimulated, can bring about the most exquisite pleasures? Well, it's true. Every area of your body, the areas that are the extensions, fingertips, earlobes, nape of the neck, all these areas and many, many more are considered erogenous zones. So, what is an erogenous zone? It is the end parts of your body. So, your toes are an erogenous zone, of course, your clitoris, the penis, the perineum, which is that flat piece of skin between the anus and the vagina, or between the testicles and the anus. Everybody has a perineum. Fingertips, the in the crook of your arm, believe it or not, super, super sensitive area. And earlobes, of course. But actually, the whole head, if massaged properly, can be one of the most enjoyable sensations and really put you in a very, very receptive and wonderful mood if it's rubbed right. The lower back, and although a lot of people don't consider the loins, which is at the top of the hips and the belly area itself, as an erogenous zone, it is, especially if you do your Kegel exercises, then you are sensitizing it so that if it is stroked properly, that it also brings about chills of excitement and satisfaction. Now, we all have these wonderful erogenous zones, and that is because sex is supposed to be fun. It's not only supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be a variety of sensations, from the way that we approach it to the kind of touches that we give. There's supposed to be a lot of fun. We wouldn't have all of these erogenous zones if it wasn't meant to be fun. The creator did not give you this phenomenal body that you have so that you could, just kind of grind along and life becomes this one boring thing, one boring after another, quickie sex. No, it's supposed to be one of the greatest adventures of your life. And if you learn about all the erogenous zones and how to stimulate them properly, it can be one of the most phenomenal, exciting, satisfying, physically and emotionally wonderful experiences of your life. Now, everybody knows that the penis is a hot spot, an erogenous zone. Again, it's the end of the body part. Okay. But you don't know that his prostate is also an erogenous zone, that if rubbed properly, it can create the second part of an orgasm. The orgasm that cycles through his body goes through the prostate. And it's the same thing with the female. Just because you can't see her G spot does not mean that it doesn't exist. Most definitely a hot spot for multiple orgasms within the vagina along the vaginal wall. So he has one that's hidden, it's his prostate. She has one that's hidden, it's her G spot. Don't discount them just because you can't see them. Search and find them and learn how to rub them right. And how do you learn how to rub them right? Ask the person that you're rubbing, okay? Because everybody is different and not everybody wants to be treated the same way. For some people, they like a little bit of a firm touch. Other people like a lighter touch, medium touch. Some people are extremely ticklish. Ticklish is not exciting. It's not fun, but stroking somebody with just the right touch on an erogenous zone is definitely a way to excite that person and to keep the foreplay interesting. Okay. So now we have all these erogenous zones. Another erogenous zone is, for many people, nipples. Now, that's kind of a tricky area because it has been found that 50% of both men and 50% of women do not consider their nipples an erogenous zone. Isn't that weird? I guess it's how they're raised and what their experiences with that area was. So, so not everybody, But for the people who do consider nipples and breasts a major erogenous zone, rubbing that area and doing it right can actually bring about orgasm. I mean, it's not all about the genitals. It doesn't have to be about the genitals all the time. And to touch the body correctly and to just try different sensations. Okay, so many people are so genital focused. They just want to go from A to B, B to C, and then get it done, and rub this area, throw some lubricant on there, and then it's done. Well, it's not meant to be a race, folks. It's meant to be one of the most pleasurable, phenomenal, exciting experiences in our day to day. And if you make it one of the most exquisite and fun experiences and take your time, it can be not only physically satisfying, but emotionally satisfying and even spiritually satisfying, because we are spiritual beings in this body, and this body has pleasure points. And to ignore all of them because, number one, you don't know about them, or number two, they're not getting you to, point A to point B, as quickly. You think, well, if I lubricate that vagina, then, within a few minutes, I could be able to put the penis in there. No, there's all the fun stuff that happens before all of that. And to pay attention to those erogenous zones is really a great way to add some spice and variety to your sex life. Now, last week I talked about the idea and the technique of shrimping, which was to stimulate toes. Another area that most people do not consider an erogenous zone: armpits. I know people think, oh my God, armpits, but I'm talking clean armpits, all right? I'm not talking you just finished sweating out a day and you come in smelling like God knows what. I'm saying you've taken a shower and you are very, very clean, and to stroke that area, to breathe on that area. For men, there's a little bit of hair there to gently move that back and forth. And for the woman who dares to allow the hair to grow, it too can be a major erogenous zone. For many women, it's not, because they've shaved that area, and to have someone stroking bare skin on bare shaved skin in that area can feel a little irritating. But to allow a little of the hair to grow back and then to breathe over that area, to stroke over that area, exquisite pleasure. We're not talking tickling, folks. We're talking different kinds of strokes, okay? And there's all different kinds of strokes. There's fingertips, there's lips, there's nose, all right? All these parts of your body, use them in creative ways to excite the body and to bring about pleasure, because we're meant for pleasure. We are meant for pleasure in our lives. And, although a lot of people seek pleasure outside of themselves, they want to see it in a movie, they want to see it on TikTok, they want to see it on Facebook, they want to see it in drama at work. They're constantly drawn, ball games, different kinds of dramas. They're drawn all over the places for titillation. None of that is going to give you an orgasm. But your body, on the other hand, has phenomenal potential for pleasure. And when you discover your potential for pleasure, and when you are open to trying different things and to exploring the body and its potential for exquisite sensations, you find out that, you really don't have to go too far from home to find the pleasure that you're seeking. This is really kind of important because we're not taught any of this. Anytime people talk about sex, it's always as a liability. You can get pregnant, you can get diseases. They never talk about sexual pleasure. Not even in the New York Museum of Sex. They don't even talk about pleasure there, which is kind of crazy because, you'd think they would be celebrating sex, but they're not. They're talking about all the liabilities. So that's why I come to you every single week to remind you that you have phenomenal potential for pleasure within your body, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. And if you are willing to take the time to explore with your lover all the different sensations and communicate with each other what feels good, how this feels good, I like it more like this way, I don't like it like that way so much, try this, do that, then life and sex in particular, your sexual relations, becomes one of the greatest adventures of a lifetime. Never do the same thing twice, always enjoying each other, always looking to find what else is pleasing for each other. And that, to me, is the best part of being a human. I mean, other animals have sex, but they don't have erogenous zones, nor if they do have erogenous zones, they know nothing about them. Humans, we have consciousness, we have intelligence. We can elevate our sex life by learning about our potential and learning about all the hot spots, those inner thighs, those toes, even fingertips. I mean, for many people, not fingertips because they're in and out of hot water so much and they're just callous and everything else. But for people who take really good care of their skin, fingertips are the ends of the fingers and have a lot of nerve endings and can be considered very, very sensitive. And again, stroked properly, a wonderful sensation that can just travel up through the fingers, right through the hands, right into the body. Don't discount your potential for pleasure. You have it. Make it your goal this year to discover as many of the major erogenous zones as you possibly can so that your sex life can be the most fun that it can possibly be. So I think I've covered them all. If you have any questions, I'm always open to answering questions. I love answering questions. And if you don't and you think about it later, email me at ypi69@hotmail.com. I would be more than happy to answer a question or two for you via that medium. Join me next week when I talk about the 3 different female attitudes: wife, prostitute, and the other woman. It's going to be a great talk. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant and dream builder life coach. And I love coming here, seeing you every week. Join me next week for another exciting episode of Your Pleasure. Bye for now and namaste. And do your Kegels. Bye.